Lexington. Dave Baker, Kyle Mesa here. Let's check out the starting lineups tonight as the Cats get set to take on the Morehead Eagles. Milton Chavis, the guy who's going to make things go for Morehead.
Yeah, leading scorer, but we're going to see a lot of players. They will play up to 15 players, a lot of fouls, trying to be physical out on the floor.
And on the other side of the ledger for the Wildcats of Kentucky, it's a starting lineup that we have seen before. But Kyle, again, no Ryan Harrow. Cats had hoped to get him some action tonight, but after the illness, he's now back home dealing with a family issue. They expect him back this weekend.
Yeah, you hope you can get that all straightened out pretty quickly so they can get some time on the floor together before you get into conference play. But again, giving these players a chance to move up one spot maybe in lineup and get a little bit extra experience. So maybe a good thing in the long run.
Sean Woods, one of the unforgettables back in Rupp Arena. We'll talk about the first-year head coach of Morehead State in a bit. But now, with the UK Healthcare Injury Report, the third member of our broadcast crew is Tom Army. Tom?
Yeah, nothing to report on that UK Healthcare Injury Report for the Kentucky Wildcats. Taking on Morehead State for the first time since 09. A 16-point win back then in 09, and they've never lost to the Eagles.
All right, Tom. We appreciate it, Tom. And that is the UK Healthcare Injury Report. There you see John Calipari getting set to go. The Cats in the home white against the Eagles of Morehead State. It'll be an up-tempo game played by the Eagles. Kentucky and company looking to go to the bigs. Doug Schaus, Mike Kitts, Garrick Shannon, our official. Shannon, the man who throws it up, and Kentucky with the first possession of the night.
And Dave, just to point out how much faster this Morehead team plays than last year's team, averaging about 13 more possessions per game during the early part of the season.
Holmes called for the early bump as he made contact with Noel, and there's one of the unforgettables. He, like my broadcast partner, have a jersey hanging from the rafters here in Rupp Arena. And there's the trap out front, exactly the way the Cats practiced against it in the shoot-around today. Wiltjer.
Cats did a pretty good job, though, not panicking when they got in that trap, found the open spot. Shot just didn't go down for Kyle Wiltjer.
Morehead State with its first offensive possession. And Goodwin got a hand on it.
Morehead likes to get majority of their offense from their defensive end, getting some steals and going the other way for some layups. But when they're in the half court, they don't do a lot of different sets. Just try to keep it pretty basic, kind of a 3-out, 2-in, flash to the high-low, and go from there.
Warner gets it off the inbounds. And good defense early on by Kentucky. Shot clock at 5. Kelly. And a good defensive possession for the Wildcats. Poythress. And Noel strong to the glass. Good rebound. Even a better putback.
Yeah, doing a much better job of getting that base by using his footwork to gather. Might have got away with one that time. Looked like it was coming off the glass, but Kentucky goes the other way.
Sean Woods talking with Mike Kitts on the sideline, thought the same thing. But boy, a nice box out by Jason Holmes at the other end to keep Noel off the glass. Kelly tried the jump stop.
Morehead trying to be a little bit more patient than they have been their first 4 games in the half court. Once they get to the half court, trying to use some shot clock, get a good look. Earlier we saw them in some of the earlier games, get it down, try to make a quick move and get the ball in the air.
Goodwin put it on the floor. and draws the foul. Good start early for Nerlens Noel, Kyle.
Yeah, very active early. Comes off the offensive glass, little spin move, and uses that right hand. Bank shot off the front of the rim, gets it to go down. Then on the other end, hustling back. It's just the wipe clean off the glass that way, then going back the other way. Comes back with from a different angle.
That looked pretty good right there.
Maybe it hit the glass first, which it hits it on going up.
Atkinson was called for the foul just before the timeout, and now Kelly guilty of the block. Third foul against the Eagles.
You can see this Kentucky team a little bit, not anxious, but just kind of feeling their way through here in the early going. Not sure about everything exactly they're doing, just kind of feeling the way through. Get a little second wind going, kind of relax and start playing.
Goodwin got it to go. Holmes underneath. And another block by the Cats.
Excellent defense that time by Noel. Just staying down, didn't go for the shot fake. Perfect timing.
Penetration, and Noel comes over with a help. Oh, is he putting on a show early? Wiltjer from Noel.
There's that passing ability I was talking about. Noel just bouncing like a pogo stick on the defensive end. Went for the fake, but able to get back down and get up and block it the second time.
Noel leading the team in rebounds and steals and doing a bit of everything tonight.
Yeah, here you see, you got a pogo stick, goes up, comes back down, goes right back up, and keeps the ball in play. Doesn't knock it out of bounds, so the offense for the Wildcats can go the other way.
Noel with 3 blocks, 3 rebounds, 2 points early on.
You see the passing ability of Nerlens Noel, and Kyle Wiltjer doing a good job of moving without the basketball. If the defensive man takes a look at the ball, then you don't want to stand still. You got to move so he can't find you. That time it led to a wide open layup.
Kentucky with a 6-0 run to start this one.
The Cats with some full court pressure.
We thought we might see it, and now we have. Morehead breaks it. And the Eagles still looking for their first bucket. There's another block. I think Goodwin got it. But nice job by Morehead State to stay on the glass. And I believe it was Drew Kelly that got it. Goodwin is pushed. Yvonne Atkinson guilty of the foul, and that'll be his second.
You may have heard Coach Calipari yelling in the background. He wasn't yelling at Archie Goodwin for dribbling too much. It was yelling more at the wings to get themselves open. It kind of leaves the point guard out there stranded on an island if no one moves enough to get the ball over so you can start that entry pass, start your offense.
Here you see the shooting numbers. Morehead State got to be awfully happy to be only 4 down, starting 1 for 8. Mays tried to go cross court, and they say on the catch, Poythress stepped on the end line. First turnover of the game for either team.
Julius Mays just a little bit late with that pass. Took a hesitation that allowed the defense to get back and bump Poythress right on out of bounds.
Defense, Poythress thought he forced a turnover, but they say it went out of bounds off his hand as the young fella doing a nice job of getting out in the passing lane. Jared Olson getting set to check in at the scorer's table. Nice give and go. It was the assist that goes to Drew Kelly.
Will Owens, a nice roll that time. Set a good solid pick. Made the defense come out when he rolled the basket. It's a good delivery.
Jared Stokes, number 4, the redshirt junior from Smyrna, Georgia, with the assist, having just checked into the Morehead lineup. Now the Eagles with a little zone. And creating some problems. The Eagles increased the pressure. They trail by just 2. But early in this one, the Cats getting it going on the defense and the offense. They lead it by 2. There you see the big crowd, 23,500 here at Rupp Arena as Jared Polson has checked into the Wildcat lineup. Goodwin on the drive, lots of contact, no foul. And Morehead comes right back, and Milton Chavis and the Eagles have answered Kentucky's opening 6-0 run with a 6-0 run of their own to tie it.
Sean Woods talked about his team needs to shoot the ball well. They start out a little slowly, but since then have picked it up. That's why they're right back in this ball game.
One thing they have done in this game, Kyle, is commit some fouls. And they are going to put Kentucky at the line plenty early. Owens guilty of that foul. Khalil Owens, 6'7", 250-pound senior from Pensacola, who's just checked in. 5th foul. And now Owens trying to check Willie Cauley-Stein. Goodwin slipped. And the Wildcats turn it over for the 2nd time.
And again, the speed of Morehead's defense is really making Kentucky play at an uncomfortable pace right now. Trying to do a little bit too much instead of staying under control. Jump stops we heard Coach Calipari talk about in the pregame show.
Eagles can't get the 3 to go for the lead. And Goodwin quickly into the front court. Wow. Nice rebound by Chavis.
Yeah, good rebound, but a bad possession that time. No passes. Archie Goodwin is going down, playing 1-on-5.
Chavis had a 3 go way down and pop out. And now he gets a steal. Goodwin with a big-time block. Oh, my goodness. 4th block of the night by the Cats.
And Noel initially went for the block and made the player adjust the shots. You see Stokes driving down the lane, gives it off. But then there comes Goodwin from behind. Momentum carried it out of bounds, but it was a nice block there. You see getting some instruction from Coach Calipari.
Kelly checks out of the Morehead State lineup, as does Chavis. There you see the Eagles forcing 29 turnovers that led to 36 points on Sunday versus Lafayette. Maurice Lewis Briggs checking in to the Morehead State lineup.
Again, Dave, as you look out on the floor, though, right now, Morehead, especially the front line players, I mean, they're a lot more physical looking to their bodies. They're cut a little bit more, a little bigger, and they're trying to use that bulk to their advantage. They may not be able to jump as high as quickly off the ground as Noel or Willie Cauley-Stein, but just trying to muscle them. That's one thing Kentucky in the first game, had problems. They were getting forced underneath the basket and taking them out of rebounding positions. So it'll be a real test for this front line for Kentucky to kind of man up, be strong, down the low post, and finish plays.
Morehead really extending the defense, and they get another turnover, 4th of the night. And now the Eagles have the lead for the first time as Angelo Warner slams it home.
Yeah, Warner did a good job that time. He saw the loose ball was going to his teammates, so he just took off. Got the easy layup down on the other end. Smart move.
John Calipari knew this would be the kind of defense his team would be facing tonight. The only question he had was how would they respond? Kentucky now with 4 turnovers in their last 5 possessions.
Freshman mistakes, if you will, just trying to catch the ball with one hand, not being strong. It takes a little adjustment, get used to when someone's leaning on you all the time defensively, so you got to give Morehead credit.
Eagles with the basketball in a 2-point lead. Owens faces up on Noel. How about the big fella?
Yeah, it took Noel right down in the block. Noel just gave up way too much ground, had him underneath the basket, so an easy move once he got him that low.
I think the 250 of Khalil Owens was much more helpful than the 6'7" was in that case. Mays can't get it to go, and the Eagles doing a nice job on the boards.
Morehead on a 10-0 run.
A team that is coming here under their first-year head coach, who generated more than a little conversation this week with some comments.
You see how he just backs Noel all the way inside the circle down low. You got to hold your ground, be physical. You can't just keep continuing to give the ground up. Otherwise, they'll be shooting layups that time as Briggs did.
Mays called for the foul. That's the first against the Wildcats tonight. Kentucky with the first 6 of the game, and as Kyle said, Morehead State with 10 straight since. Make it 13. Oh my goodness, Stokes hit it from about the top of the K. There you see what the Morehead pressure has done. Wiltjer.
You also noticed that time too, Dave, Kentucky not going to the offensive glass, only Willie Cauley-Stein and maybe a little bit of Polson, but because Morehead's had some runouts and using that speed, Kentucky very aware now, not really giving an effort going forward.
Willie Cauley-Stein closes out to challenge that shot, but it's a 13-0 Morehead State run. The Eagles with a 7-point lead. Wildcat crowd still into it. But boy, their team has been challenged early on, Kyle Macy, as Morehead State has put together a 13-0 run. They've created those 13 points with some great defense.
They really have, and it's led some easy baskets on the other end. You see them taking care of the basketball very well tonight also. But I think they've come out after that initial 6-0 run by Kentucky. Morehead seems to relax a little bit, just start playing. And that's really how they play. Not a lot of thought process going in, just pressuring the ball on the defensive end, trying to come up with some deflections, some steals, and get some easy baskets on the other end. And it's kind of put Kentucky on its heels. Offensively, Kentucky is not really doing much offensively as far as working with each other. It's got a lot of one-on-one play.
Kentucky only 3 of 10 from the field. Noel has hit the only shot that he has taken. And I'm sure John Calipari trying to reacquaint his teammates with the nation's #1 recruit and try to get him some more touches, although it looks like he's headed to the bench to get his first rest of the night. How about the Kentucky defense and how they'll handle things against Morehead State? With more on that, here's Tom Wormy.
Well, Dave, Coach Cal told them the way you shoot around is the way you're going to play. And to that end, they were working on a defensive drill, and the guys were not saying anything. They needed to communicate to each other. Coach Cal blew the whistle, stopped things, says, guys, you have to communicate. You have to talk to be aggressive defensively. If you don't talk, you're going to start taking fouls, and you're going to be out of position. So what they need to do is work on that communication. Coach Cal made it a point of emphasis at the shoot-around earlier today, guys.
Thank you, Tom. How about the 3 just before the shot clock runs out? That's Maurice Lewis Briggs. And that, my friends, is a 16-0 Morehead State run.
Yeah, demoralizing possession that time, too, and the fact that they had that shot clock down where they wanted, Kentucky did, but Briggs able to make that tough shot.
Out of the timeout. John Calipari out onto the court trying to exhort his team on the defensive end.
Well, Kentucky at some point is going to have to respond to this physical play because right now Morehead's just taking it to him.
Morehead State 2 of 6 from outside the 3-point line.
Shot clock at 6.
Kick out to Mays. And Kentucky has now gone about 7 minutes without a field goal. How about another 3? Wiltjer got a bump in on Lewis Briggs, but no foul call. Boy, I don't know if the ice is still active under this court, but Willie Cauley-Stein just slipped and went down. Everybody's got some new and different shoes on. We saw Archie Goodwin go down earlier.
I think Willie might have got a little help that time when he went down.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, I like the look of those shoes. But, I mean, we've seen a couple of guys just go down with, no contact. Owens called for the foul. That's his second. And Archie Goodwin gets the free throw. There you see the substitutions in the game. Cauley Stein and Polson go out. Poythress and Nerlens Noel come back in after that first free throw of the game by either team.
Coach Cal bringing the lineup back into the game, giving them a chance to sit down for a minute or two, catch their breath, maybe take a look, just relax, see if they perform a little bit better this time.
Yvonne Atkinson back into the Morehead State lineup, as is number 12, Bakari Turner, 6'4", 190-pound junior from Plano, Texas, via Cedar Valley College. Kentucky free throws their first points in almost 7 minutes. And steps called as Lewis Briggs thought he had a bucket. And that, Kyle Macy, is the first Morehead State turnover of the game, while Kentucky has turned it over 5 times on the night.
Morehead's done a good job of those turnovers, capitalizing into 6 points.
Hold is called. They're going to get Jason Holmes for the foul. That's his second. So Owens, Atkinson, Holmes all have 2 fouls each. Morehead State with 7 here in the first half. There you see Holmes go to the bench. And Kentucky now over 7 minutes without a field goal. They've only got 2 points in that period of time, and those came on the 2 free throws by Goodwin. Mays now unable to hit the front end.
You know, Dave, we talk about the learning process for this Kentucky team. Well, one thing they're learning right now, the team that's the most aggressive, for the most part, is going to get the calls, and they're going to play a little bit better, because right now Kentucky's been kind of on their heels. Morehead's been very active and attacking both offensively and defensively, and that's why they built up this double-digit or 8-point lead, 16-8.
It was double digits. Misfire there by Turner on his first shot of the night. Lob to Noel. Kentucky scored the first 6 of the night, and Morehead State responded with a 16-0 run to take a 10-point lead. Now Kentucky with back-to-back buckets for the first time in a while. Goodwin got another block. 6th of the night for the Wildcats. But Morehead State stays with it, and they turn it into points.
And Chad Postumus, that time 6'11", 270 from Winnipeg. He's going to put it back on the board, and then comes down and gives Nerlens Noel a chuck as he tries to go to the low post. Finally gets called for the foul.
You want to talk about physical play now. Postumus, 6'11", 270, a transfer from Howard Community College. He is bumping. He is holding. He had the arms locked. And the big fella came in off the bench and started talking smack to Nerlens Noel.
Yeah, you know, as you look at this Morehead roster, I mean, just about everybody on the roster is either from a junior college or is transferred or has had a redshirt season. So it's an experienced club as far as age-wise as well. A little bit older, a little bit stronger, and trying to use that to their advantage. Not to mention you've got them from all over, from Texas to Pennsylvania to Florida, Kansas. So the recruiting budget definitely has gone up in Morehead the last few years.
Again, Kentucky misses the front end. But this time the Wildcats chase it down. Noel again went up with a left hand, and look at Cauley Stein come in and tie up Postumus. But the arrow points the Eagles' way.
One of the things for the big men, Kentucky, they've got to understand when they get the ball on a roll or anytime down the low post, there's going to be contact. Just expect it. You can't go up there kind of shying away from it. In fact, if anything, you may want to initiate it a little bit by doing a strong power move, taking off 2 feet and absorbing that contact and still being able to finish maybe for a 3-point play.
One thing we've not seen, Kyle, because they played so well, is we have not seen Morehead State go to the full court pressure. Screen out front. There's another block, number 7 in this first half for the Wildcats. Goodwin on the drive. And he'll go to the line. Kentucky trying to battle back. But the Eagles and their physical play, they lead it by 8. Brian Woodruff And Uncle Roy Alpers, our entire crew tonight. What we've seen, Kyle Macy, is Morehead State take it at the Cats early.
Yeah, they've been very aggressive, really dominating, whether it's inside post up or long-range jumper that time by Stokes. But you can see just getting after the ball a little bit quicker than this Kentucky team right now and being able to finish and getting points off of turnovers. Some easy, uncontested points on the other end of the floor. Just manhandling the Wildcats down low.
Posthumous, the big fella, coming in there and creating, as has Stokes off the bench. And as we take a look at our game summary, we see that Kentucky scored the first 6, and then Morehead State started forcing the turnovers and put together a 16-0 run of their own, Kyle.
They've done it with good balance. 7 players have scored already for the Eagles. And Kentucky, again, just a little bit on their heels. Need to just kind of go out there, be more aggressive. Know there's going to be contact, but you got to be able to play through it. Although you have to be strong enough to play through it too. These Eagles, a couple of those players, very physical out there when they try to make a move, able to hold them up. So again, the young freshmen learning how to play through contact.
And you know, boy, if things haven't been difficult enough for Kentucky tonight, I think that's 3 straight free throws that they've missed. They missed 2 straight front ends. And now only 2 of 5. And Morehead State has outscored Kentucky 12-0 off the bench.
Yeah, 12-6 points in the paint, really dominating down low. Fast break points, Kentucky yet to score on the fast break, but Morehead does have 4.
Lob play. Oh my goodness. Atkinson to Chavis. That's a move that we're used to seeing Kentucky pull off against opponents. But that time, Chavis, defending at the other end, kept Goodwin from getting the lob.
Kentucky was going to run the exact same play, but here you see on the other end just a back screen on Poythress, and no help by Noel, a little bit late coming over. And a nice throw, the pass by Atkinson.
First foul against Stokes, and that's one of the things that John Calipari's talked about consistently, Kyle. You can have all the great physical ability in the world. Well, on plays like that, you've got to talk. You've got to let your teammate know that that back door is coming. As Kentucky now in the double bonus, and Goodwin misses again.
Yeah, a good defensive team, Dave, is not one that can really just one guy play the ball really hard. It's all 5 guys reacting to the ball. Pressure on the ball by the man guarding the player with the basketball, but also the other 4 seeing it, helping in position, and then if the ball does go to the basket, all 4 or 5 guys blocking out and just allowing one shot and then going to the other end. Constantly talking, calling out picks or overloads, different type of things.
Kentucky has been down by 10 a couple of different times in this first half. And that would be the first time they've been down by double digits since 2010, 2011. At home when Mississippi State was here. Noel on the fast break. Can't gather it. And Kentucky turns it over again, and John Calipari yells to Archie Goodwin, why?
Yeah, no reason really to make that pass because the defense was back. You're going to make Noel try to play one-on-one. And his strength is not really handling the basketball out on the floor, just getting the post, making some post moves.
John Calipari has never lost in Rupp Arena as Wildcat coach. Chavis turns it over. Second turnover of the night by Morehead State.
You can see the concern on Coach Calipari's face. It seems like he's the one with the most energy on the team right now, trying to get players to pick up their step a little bit, a little more energy out there on the court.
Ollie Stein with a step back, and now Morehead looking to run. They've got numbers as Noel slipped. Wow. John Calipari takes a timeout. Milton Chavis with the 3. And the Morehead State bench is feeling it as the Eagles have taken their largest lead of the night at 11.
Chavis, a nice looking shot that time, runs the wing, and a good job by Stokes getting him the basketball as they swing it around. Excellent form, follow through right through the net. Kentucky, though, on the other end, Willie Cauley-Stein shoots a fadeaway jump shot. I mean, he's 6'10", 6'11", and it shows that contact is really bothering the Cats. You've got to be able to fight through the contact. You can't give in and shoot fadeaway jump shots.
Sean Woods, the first-year Morehead State coach, was part of a group here at Kentucky whose jerseys hang in the rafters called the Unforgettables. They were overachievers, and you see what Woods' overachieving team has done in the last 11 minutes. It's that same sort of scrappy play and pinpoint precision from outside, Kyle, that was a hallmark of the Unforgettables. That's done it for Morehead State tonight.
Yeah, definitely carried that system and style over to his teams. In the term sense of urgency, we hear a lot. Well, right now, Kentucky doesn't have that at all, but Morehead really playing hard.
Poythress on the post-up. Gets it to go on the slam. His first bucket of the night.
The other thing Morehead's done a good job is just being patient. If there's no fast break, they're using a lot of shot clock, making Kentucky play defense. Kind of takes away the rhythm for the Kentucky offense on the other end.
Kelly with a nice spin move. Young man from Franklin, Tennessee.
Yeah, Kelly, good basketball family. His grandfather, an outstanding coach. Actually, he was assistant coach here on the Kentucky staff for years. A longtime coach at Morehead State. Poythress starting to come alive now. Second basket, back-to-back.
Kelly, a transfer from Miami of Ohio. You mentioned his grandfather, Lake Kelly. And Posthumous knocked the rebound out of bounds. His dad was also a high school coach here in the state. And after going to Miami of Ohio, Kelly decided to transfer back to his home state. And getting it done for Morehead State. Poythress going to work on Lewis Briggs. Nice pass.
Again, Noel's ability and willingness to give that ball up. I like the fact the Cats going to Poythress, though. He's the one player physically can handle with any of these Morehead Eagles.
The crowd that's been mostly silent tonight. Silenced again after a brief roar. Atkinson got the runner to go. There's another pass. That's Kentucky's third straight basket off an assist. Could there be a little something there that when you make the nice pass, you get somebody a good shot?
Yeah, Kentucky's starting to play a little bit faster. That sense of urgency we talked about, all of a sudden you see it in their eyes now.
Kelly again. Morehead State applying the pressure. Cats trying to battle back. But the Eagles still on top. The pressure from Morehead State. Tom Wormy, it's exactly what John Calipari tried to warn his guys about all throughout the week.
Goodwin for Kentucky. He was very honest with me at the shoot-around. He said, it's so much more challenging than I thought it would be. He didn't know it would be this hard. And the fact that he's been pressed into action as the point guard in the absence of Ryan Harrow, never really played point guard on a consistent basis. When he led his high school team last year in Arkansas to a state championship, its first ever, he was primarily the shooting guard, the #2 guy. So you've got Goodwin trying to ease into that position, but it is a quick learning curve when you're wearing the blue and white of Kentucky.
Oh, boy. Again, Ryan Harrow has been out with a mystery illness as Stokes had to force one up just before the shot clock ran out. They thought Harrow was going to be able to go tonight, but then came word from John Calipari late this morning that he's gone back home with his mother to attend to a family issue. As Goodwin is fouled, they do expect Harrow back sometime Saturday. He could be back as early as Friday, but they don't plan on having him for the LIU Brooklyn game. And Kyle, you can see tonight just how much he's needed on this Kentucky team.
Yeah, it really would help, although it'd be kind of a challenge for him because he's not the strongest point guard. But it would be good to get him back out in the lineup and actually see Goodwin at the 2-guard spot. That time, Kentucky coming out of the first possession after the timeout ran a set play where they put Archie Goodwin down the post to try to post up Atkinson because he has a big size advantage. Atkinson only 6'1".
Maurice Lewis Briggs guilty of the foul. Kentucky, you want to talk about a difference in how physical these two teams are playing, Mace? 11 fouls committed by Morehead State. Kentucky has committed just 1.
Well, Kentucky can't afford to get a lot of foul problems because they're so shallow.
They can afford more than 1, though.
Yeah.
My point is it's indicative of who's playing physical and who's not.
Exactly. That's a good point. And the other thing I think, Dave, too, this Kentucky team, they've really not been in a game where a team is that aggressive and coming at them that much. I mean, even in the Duke game, they weren't trying to overpower them with their physical play. They did more of the outside shooting and their experience, whereas Maryland was more inside. The big fella Lim there was a dominant post player. So they're seeing a different look every game and trying to learn from it.
And that's a good thing for when you get down the road.
You know, that last time
out. If you can survive.
Yeah, exactly. The last time out, too, I mean, Morehead had taken 11 more shots than Kentucky, just to show that they're doing a better job of taking care of the basketball and playing at that faster tempo, getting those loose balls, some offensive boards as well, and forcing those turnovers.
So now you start to see the Morehead State foul trouble manifest itself. Khalil Owens committed that foul. It was his 3rd. He goes out. And Jason Holmes, number 42, checks back in. And I believe he has got 2. And he does. Morehead's lead down to 3. Here's Kelly. And he's called for the walk.
Yeah, a little shuffle stuff. Tried to do a little bit too much that time. You know, Kelly's been a little slow starting this year, but seemed to show some signs of life the last contest. He was a key player for that team last year.
Morehead State's biggest lead has been 11. Kentucky's biggest lead was 6 when they got out of the gates on a 6-0 run before Morehead answered with a 16-0 run. And there is Archie Goodwin.
Now, the other thing Kentucky's been able to do is by continuing to execute, they're starting to get some baskets in the offensive end because Morehead may be a little bit fatigued. Playing that fast, that hard for a full 20 minutes can wear you down.
And we've talked about how well Morehead has played in the first half. There's another block, and yet the Eagles only with a 1-point lead now. Stokes long 3. Poythress went way up. They'll say he was fouled as he wasn't given a chance to come down. And Kentucky with a stop, partially on the strength of their 8th block of the first half.
Yeah, and I really like the way Poythress is starting to perform the second half here of the first half. And the fact that he's gotten a lot more physical. He's looking to do some things offensively and really going to the glass. Although that last possession when Noel got the block, his teammates need to rotate over and pick up that loose ball. That's one difference from last year's team we've seen this year's team. They did a great job last year. Davis would get the block and keep it in bounds, and all of a sudden the fast break was flying the other way. This year there's just that little hesitation, not cleaning up those loose balls.
Lewis Briggs commits the foul. I'm sure, you know, Sean Woods, you may have heard, is not shy about expressing his opinion. Certainly his team has been the aggressor, but he might say something about this. Kentucky 9 of 13 in the first half from the free throw line. Morehead State has not taken a free throw.
But I think if you look at their stats on the year, their opponents have taken 94 free throws.
Oh, sure.
And they've only attempted 50-some. So, I mean, that's kind of normal just because of the style they play and the number of players they play.
Good call, Mace. Morehead has been called for 95 fouls coming into the night, and their opponents have been whistled for just 58. And Kentucky on a 10-0 run has retaken the lead. Stokes again. Olsen back into the Wildcat lineup. And there he comes up with a loose ball.
So no one diving, everybody reaching down for Kentucky to get it. Got to get on the floor.
Well, I'm telling you, one thing about these Morehead guys, you know, you can talk about how many stars are out behind their names. Sean Woods has got this club playing awfully hard.
Yeah, he said before the game, you know, one thing he knows, his team will play hard. If they're going to get beat, it's because the team had more talent, not because they played harder than these Eagles.
Olsen whistled for the foul, his first, only the second against the Wildcats, as Kentucky has just its first lead since it was 6-4. And the Eagles now with a chance to go back on top at the free throw line. Goodwin whistled for that foul, his first, team's third.
See Jason Holmes, the player that came with Sean Woods from Mississippi Valley State.
Holmes played 58 games at Mississippi Valley State. He averaged almost 6 points a game and 3 rebounds a game as a junior. His brother Andre, the wide receiver for the Cowboys.
Not sure how he's eligible to play there. He's going to have to transfer when he transferred, sit out, unless, I guess, with a coaching change, maybe.
Or something to do with the major.
Yeah.
That's usually the way it is. Those were the first 2 Morehead State free throws of the game as Pauly Stein slams it down.
Goodwin with a good penetration, heads up that time.
And if you don't get back, these Eagles will get up a quick shot. Chavis can't connect. Oh. And neither can Poythress.
I like the way he went to the basket, but he took his eye off the rim because he was concerned about the foul.
And Morehead State is going to take a timeout with 23.6 left. 21 seconds on the shot clock. Sean Woods trying to set a play.
You see an excellent penetration. Feels the trap coming, goes the other way. A little bounce pass down low to Pauly Stein. A good finish by the big man. Down on the other end, Coach Calipari wearing out the officials.
Garrick Shannon in particular, I believe this is his first trip into Rupp Arena. Cal spent that entire 30-second timeout going toe-to-toe with Shannon. And now he goes back to discuss it with Mike Kitts.
2.6 differential in the shot clock and the game clock right now. So Kentucky needs to do a good defensive possession here. Make sure on the miss they get the rebound. The Eagles take it all the way down. Not a lot of time to do some things, but at least want to make sure you try to get a stop and have that lead going into halftime.
Hope Tom Wormy has got the battle armor on as John Calipari comes off the floor. We'll hear from the UK coach at the half and Morehead State coach Sean Woods before we begin the final 20 minutes. Great half of basketball for the Eagles. Pull up. And it's up and in by Maurice Lewis-Briggs.
You know, Noel did a good job rotating, but he kept his hands down like he was going to take a charge. You got to hold him up, make him shoot over the top.
Goodwin with a crossover. Wildcats lost track of the clock, but Archie Goodwin makes up for it. Sean Woods furious that his team is already back in the locker room. And Kentucky with that basket takes a 1-point lead at the break.
Well, just a little crossover move that time by Archie Goodwin. You see why he's so highly rated with a 2-guard, his ability to get to the basket and score.
That's the 6th lead change of the half. John Calipari took the quick walk into the locker room as well. We're back with our halftime activities right after this. Eruption zone. What can we expect in his final 20 minutes? Tom Wormy standing by with UK coach John Calipari.
Thanks, Dave. Coach, your guys did a lot. They fought hard to get back in this game. What are you looking for in the second half?
The game was too physical for my team. That's what's scary. Last year, teams did this to us, and we responded early in the year the same way.
And that's kind of what happened when the Cats faced that physical play. Kyle, they just kind of stopped at times, and that's what the coach is hoping doesn't happen here in the final 20 minutes.
Well, and real important, the first 3 or 4 minutes of this second half. Coaches talk about that often. You want to set the tempo. Morehead's had a chance, so first turnover right away there.
Wow.
Morehead's had a chance to rest a little bit, regroup, and get that energy level back up, so Kentucky's got to be able to respond.
7th turnover of the night, forced by Morehead State. There you see the leading scorers.
Again, look at that position down almost underneath the basket.
Another block by the Wildcats. 9 on the night. First one of the second half. Wiltjer now trying to get physical himself. And Kelly is called for the foul. It's his second.
And a set play that time for Kyle Wiltjer to go to the low post and attack Kelly. Kyle doesn't want to be known as just a jump shooter, so trying to show some diversity to his game.
Boy, how about that? For the second straight possession, Jason Holmes with a steal. And the Eagles not able to convert yet. They get an offensive rebound, though, and John Calipari is going ballistic on the Kentucky bench. Morehead State coming out, and they extend the lead to 2 early in the second half. Et al. Here at Rupp Arena in Lexington. You heard John Calipari tell Tom as he came out for the second half, his team just did not respond to the physical play. And they start the final minutes, Kyle, by turning it over twice on their first 2 second-half possessions.
Yeah, and both defensive possessions allowing Morehead to get right underneath the basket for high percentage attempts.
7 lead changes in this one. Kentucky led 6-0 early on. Morehead State put together a 16-0 run. They've led by as many as 11. And Wiltjer, who hit 7 threes the other night, has not scratched on this evening. But Poythress bails him out with the rebound.
Kentucky yet to hit a three-pointer. I don't know what the total is, 800 and some games where they've made a three-pointer, but so far 0 for 5. But again, now Alex Poythress doing an excellent job with the strength that he possesses and then trying to match that physical play from Morehead.
Poythress gets that free throw to go. Holmes, who picked up his 3rd foul, goes out. In comes Khalil Owens, who picked up 3 first-half fouls of his own.
Well, Owens not able to play a lot because of the foul problem, but normally he plays between 16 and 18 minutes a game.
Kentucky now 12 of 16 from the line. Morehead State 2 of 2. Seven lead changes. Now the 4th tie of the night. Kelly looking to go to work. And he did so on Wiltjer. Noel came from the backside and got the block, but they say Kyle Wiltjer is guilty of his first foul.
Yeah, no use making the foul there. You've got pretty good position, and you know your teammate's coming up going to block from behind, so just hold your ground, keep your arms straight up and down. You don't need to lean forward like he did to initiate that contact.
And you really don't need to do it if you know that you got Nerlens Noel behind you.
Exactly.
Willie Cauley-Stein comes in. Wiltjer, who committed that foul, goes to the bench. Morehead now 4 of 4 from the line.
Right now with the full court pressure. A little bit of token more that time, just kind of showing it gives Kentucky something else to think about.
Boy, Morehead State has been so in this game with their half-court defense. They've not pressed at all. Look at that. Chavis took it right away from Cauley-Stein, and a great hustle play by Nerlens Noel. Mike Kitts, though, says he's guilty of a shove down low. And even though he blocks it at about his elbow, Noel is called for the foul.
Just no strength that time by Willie Cauley-Stein. Lonnie Chavis to get it, but didn't see a whole lot of contact.
Now, Ryan Woodrum is our producer in the truck. If we could take another look at that, Woody, from back at the steal, you heard the crowd react. There was absolutely some contact by Chavis on the steal. That wasn't called. And then Noel blocked one with about 6 feet to spare right there. You see him go across the arm. Okay, fine. Let that go. And then Kitts, who's the trail official, who let that first contact go, calls the foul from all the way back at half court. Guys do a great job, but that was not good.
Yeah, a little bit out of position, I think. Just that hand check on the side of the body is what he called. And it was just kind of a brush, if you will. It wasn't really like he grabbed him or tried to control him with that hand check.
Noel answers back.
That's the way you go strong to the basket.
Oh, I think the big fella was a little fired up about that touch call as well.
That's a 6'10", 228-pound freshman handling the ball from out at the top of the key, going all the way down the lane and finishing.
Can't get the free throw to go. And Morehead State whistled for a lane violation. Noel, who's worked awfully hard on his free throw shooting, will get another chance. And now Goodwin with the offensive board. Morehead now with a 2-on-1. Chavis throws it down off the assist from Atkinson. Boy, you see Owens really bodying Noel. And Owens is called for his fourth.
Morehead's been doing a very good job there, transition, coming up with some defensive plays and leading 2-on-1s. It was this time Chavis with the finish off the little lob pass. But Kentucky on the other end, Noel doing a nice job of posting up, going strong in the basket. Nice pass that time by Atkinson. Well, he had 10 assists last game.
Averaging 5 assists per contest. And now you see Chad Poythress check back in. The Morehead State lineup. Willie Cully-Stein out for Kentucky. Wiltjer back in. Another whistle. Another lane violation. This time Wiltjer is called for it.
Just careless plays. You can't have those, especially when you're in a hole trying to dig your way out. Take care of every possession. You may not score every possession, but at least get a good shot. You don't want to cost yourself points.
Stokes, number 4, back in there as well. Kelly. They say that Wiltjer, I believe, is guilty of the block down low. And it's the same thing we talked about before. If you're Kyle Wiltjer, you've got to be disciplined there because you got Noel behind you.
And that just reaches forward, though, initiates that contact. Crowd didn't like it, but watch the right arm go forward.
Yep.
Breaks that plane.
Sure.
Just got to hold it straight up, the vertical plane. You're allowed to that position, but not the one when you reach forward.
3 fouls against each team here in the opening minutes of the second half.
And just like you talked about, Dave, Kyle's got to understand, hold that vertical plane, knowing that Noel's going to come over and get that block from the secondary position. His job is to try to keep him out on the floor as far as he can, but knowing his teammate's going to come up with the block.
Whistle.
Nice post up that time by Poythress.
And now the officials, sensing the physicality of this game, all of a sudden calling things much more tightly. Chavis whistled for his second. Noel just had his arm pulled on the inbounds. Poythress is doing what he's supposed to do in terms of playing hard, but when you grab a jersey like that and across the chin and then act surprised at the call.
Well, the thing is, Kentucky, you've got to play through it. Once there's contact, you can't stop, or the official's not going to call it. That's the way you go strong in the glass right there.
Poythress had the big baskets in the first half as Kentucky came back from the 11-point deficit. Kelly nowhere to go. Wow, and look at that. Maurice Lewis-Briggs simply created some space with the forearm. And that's okay as long as they don't call it. That's what John Calipari is talking about in terms of responding to the physical play.
Take a look at that last inbounds play by Kentucky. Mays, little lob pass to Noel, and a good pass again. Noel willing to give that ball up, going right down the chute for a Poythress dunk.
And so Kentucky in the bonus, and we have not yet reached the first media timeout of the second half.
which is all fine and dandy, but you still have to make those free throws.
Yes, sir.
Not shot the ball very well at all from the free throw line.
Morehead State with the basketball in a 4-point lead. Kelly couldn't get it to go. Boy, look at the Eagles on the offensive glass.
Yeah, and again, look at the Kentucky position, all inside that little arc, instead of creating space by pushing the offensive players out to get those defensive rebounds.
I tell you, if Sean Woods can get this team to play this hard in the OVC, they're going to be a team that's going to have to be dealt with.
Yeah, the new addition with Belmont coming to the OVC this year, they'll be a strong team, as well as everyone knows Murray State. Isaiah Cannon at the point guard position, outstanding player.
They won't body him up any, will they?
No.
Atkinson down the lane. Kelly couldn't get it to go. And a loose ball on the floor. They say possession, Morehead State. Oh, this game is just the kind of scrambling affair that Sean Woods wants it to be. Tom Wormy here, Morehead State on top of number 8 Kentucky, 44-40. You know, Kyle, when Sean Woods and the Unforgettables were getting it done, they just kept running bodies in, and they just kept fouling the stew out of people. And that's what they're doing tonight.
Yeah, that was the Patino system, if you will. It gets where the officials eventually stop calling fouls, and we've seen that a few times maybe here tonight. But you got to go with what your strengths are. That's what Sean knows. He grew up playing that way in the Kentucky system, and made that one runner there in the regional game against Duke. May have been, if the game had held, they'd won. Maybe one of the most famous shots ever made by a Kentucky player. Instead, everyone knows the outcome with Christian Laettner in the last shot.
Kelly off the inbounds, had it knocked away. Poythress strong to the glass. And he'll go to the line for 2.
Well, you can tell the mentality for Morehead is anytime when someone goes to the basket, they're not going to get an easy layup. They're going to foul you, make you earn it from the free throw line. So you better get ready for that contact. Gather yourself, take off 2 feet maybe so you don't get flipped, and finish the play.
Lewis Briggs guilty of his 3rd foul as Poythress hits. Owens with 4 for Morehead State. Atkinson with 3. Lewis Briggs with 3. Holmes with 3.
Cats now 5 of 7 from the free throw line in the second half.
Kentucky with 53 straight home wins, 52 in a row here at Rupp Arena. John Calipari has never lost in this building. And the Cats have gone 830 straight games with at least 1 3. That's a 24-year streak, 3rd largest in the country. And they are 0 for 5 from outside the arc tonight. Credit Morehead State, and credit Nerlens Noel for the steal. Goodwin almost threw it in, but it's defense that leads to another opportunity for this Kentucky offense.
Yeah, and watch, all of a sudden now Kentucky players diving for the loose ball, and because of that hustle, Poythress able to come up with the ball and did an excellent job of passing it ahead to Goodwin, and Goodwin with a little step-through move to draw that foul.
Kyle, we hear it all the time about the highly recruited players as Goodwin hits, but it seems like every time that Kentucky needs a spark, it's Nerlens Noel, the #1 recruit in the country, who's making a steal, who's getting a rebound, who's on the floor, who's poking the basketball away. And Archie Goodwin, 10 of 12 from the free throw line.
We spent a lot of time shooting in the shoot-around today, beforehand, afterhand, just an easy 15-foot shots. Coaches rebounding, throwing it right back to him. Had a ton of shots in the air, paying off.
Poythress 8 of 8 from the free throw line. And there's Noel, as we talked about, with another board. fifth tie of the night between the nation's 8th-ranked team and Morehead State out of the OVC. Cauley Stein is bumped and can't get it to go. And you talked about it earlier, Kyle. He's just got to get more physical.
Yeah, you know, he kind of has hit a plateau, if you will. He was playing very well early, and now just kind of has leveled off. So he needs to kind of make that push and keep that improvement going.
Stokes not afraid to put it up. And he caught Polson in midair. And he's guilty of the hip check.
Yeah, Kentucky's had a couple of possessions like that defensively where they've kind of bailed out the Eagles by just committing some silly fouls on the jump shooter. The other thing about Norland's Noel that's impressive, I think, because he did get so much notoriety as a recruit, #1 in the class. But he doesn't really get into all that. He just goes out there and plays and does his job.
You don't see him doing any of that Superman junk or posing or anything like that. He just goes about his business. That time, Cauley Stein threw it away. Here come the Eagles. And once again, Morehead State creates the contact. They'll have a chance to extend a 2-point lead off of the 11th forced turnover against Kentucky.
You see just backpedaling. Willie Cauley Stein tries to hold his ground, but a step-through move that time. Lewis Briggs draws the foul. Kyle Wiltjer waiting to check into the lineup. Last 2 possessions by Kentucky, not real solid. Turning the ball over, careless passes.
Cauley Stein goes out as Wiltjer comes in. Still an awful lot of time left, but you just get the feeling this Morehead State team is not going to go away.
Yeah, you know, Dave, it seemed like they kind of got on track there at the end of the first half. But again, to give Morehead credit, the start of this second half, they picked that intensity back up. And physically, Kentucky's just not responded, not really sure maybe how to respond because they're inexperienced. There's been some nice individual plays like that one by Goodwin, but it's got to come from the entire team, and it's got to start on the defensive end. Still, Morehead is out hustling them to the offensive board and getting all the loose balls seemingly.
You know, coaches use that term 50-50 ball.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like every 50-50 ball is going Morehead's way.
Yep. Again, just staying aggressive offensively, leading to some easy looks like that. Didn't go, but it was a wide open shot.
Postumus couldn't get it in as he got a great feed and couldn't convert. He gets the rebound, though. And the reason is he put a forearm in the back of Nerlens Noel.
But see, again, I like the way that Poythress went to the basket, posted him up. He just turns and goes strong and he used his strength to overpower Noel on the weak side trying to rebound. So I think that's a real good matchup with Poythress trying to get him in the block, whether it's through a slashing move or just post up and let him do some damage, give him some space to maneuver, and then go to the glass once the shot goes up.
Noel gets that free throw to go. And at the 13:28 mark, Kentucky in the double bonus. Number 21, Bruce Reed, 6'7", 200-pound redshirt junior, into the Morehead State lineup. He is from the same hometown as Willie Cauley Stein, Olathe, Kansas. 6th tie of the night. We've had 7 lead changes. And a defensive stop by Kentucky. And a pretty step through by Archie Goodwin, who gets the bucket and draws the foul.
Yeah, we've seen him step through to his left. That time acted like he was going to go left and came back to the right and moved the ball over to the left hand. Watch his little step through move. Looks like he's going middle, comes back to the right, lays it in. Likes that finish.
Left Reed standing still. $20 points on the night for Goodwin. Sean Woods asking for an explanation, and Doug Schaus tells him to get back in the box. Noel on the offensive glass. And they say no basket. He was fouled on the floor.
You know, Noel being very active here on the offensive glass. So just contact whether he meant to or not. The momentum carried into Noel.
Oh, there's no question he meant to. I mean, you put your arm around the guy, you meant to. Now whether you meant to get caught or not. That's the third foul on Poythress. Noel misses, and Kentucky with its first lead of the second half. Cats led by 1 at the break.
Dave, when you make a run like this, Kentucky now has taken the lead, but you want to continue to extend that as far as you can. You don't want to just get up 1 and allow Morehead to continue to hang around. You want to make that push. You get a 5, 6, 8, 10-point lead and kind of put the game out of hand. Don't give them much hope it's going to go down the wire. So you've got to capitalize on those free throws and play better defense. And Chavez, nice little pull-up jumper. Nice call by Sean Woods and company. Off that set as they got Milton Chavis an easy look. A little bit of Kentucky's own medicine that time. A little dribble drive, the curling play. And a foul. And Bakari Turner is going to be whistled for the push. First against Turner. So you see just penetrating to the elbow, flipping it back to a teammate, gathers himself for the jump stop and knocks it down. 13 fouls whistled against Morehead State here in the second half. Defensively, you don't like to see, if you're the defensive coach, you like to see an offensive player to get into the lane that easily. There should be a player on the ball plus a player to each of his sides giving that help position. But that time really opened up the lane, allowed that penetration. Mays gets him to go, and it's going to be interesting to see where the points come from. John Calipari trying to sneak some couple of extra minutes of rest for Archie Goodwin, who's played so well. Kentucky with Polson, Wiltjer, Noel, Poythress, and Mays in the lineup. And they do a nice job on the defensive rotation and force Morehead State into their 7th turnover of the night. Yeah, that was Noel again, though. It faked like he was coming over to block, and then went for the pass and able to get back in time. Goes out of bounds, Kentucky ball. Again, needs to execute. If they don't get a good look, go strong to the glass, draw some fouls. They've been able to get to the free throw line a lot this second half. Morehead State is 12 of 12 from the line. Kentucky 23 of 31 from the free throw line. They are 13 of 17 from the stripe this half. And the Cats are going to be called for an illegal screen. It's Wiltjer, who has had a tough night. And again, a wasted possession by Kentucky. Instead of expanding their lead possibly to 5 or 6 points, it still stays at 3, 1 basket. And tying the game back up for the Eagles. Stokes couldn't get it to go. I think Morehead's done a good job with their transition defense. They've not allowed Kentucky to get many run-out easy baskets. They get the Cats in a half-court set every time down the floor. And Stokes called for that foul as the free throw parade for the Cats continues. Kentucky has committed 9 fouls. Morehead State 27. The Eagles and the Cats battling in rough. 14 fouls committed by the Morehead State Eagles here in the first half of this second half. And that has enabled Kentucky to come from behind and to retake the lead at 53-50. And Morehead only shooting 35%, but they've taken 16 more attempts at the basket. 17 of 49 to Kentucky's 15 of 33 at 45%. And points off the turnovers. Kentucky has turned the ball over 12 times, leading to 15 Morehead points. Morehead only turned the ball over 5 times. So even though they're playing a very physical game, they're taking very good care of the basketball. Jared Polson, 6'2", 189-pound junior from West Jessamine High School in nearby Nicholasville, Kentucky. Seen more lane violations. Oh my gosh.
Kind of indicative of how this game has gone. When you use the term choppy, you would be talking about this affair. Archie Goodwin back in. What a big night he's had for the Cats.
Cats back with their starting lineup on the floor right now. It's important to understand you're playing basically 4-minute segments. So play hard, play physical, continue to expand on your lead, and you'll get a rest in 4 minutes.
Stokes launches the three. And Morehead with another offensive rebound. Kelly couldn't get the three ball to go. Eagles got another chance, but then threw it away.
The Wildcats lucky that time. Morehead doing an excellent job crashing that offensive glass.
I'll tell you the one thing the Eagles have done as well in terms of that offensive glass, Kyle. 13-7 is the Morehead advantage on the offensive glass, but they've done an excellent job when they get in the half court of finding Kyle Wiltjer and isolating on him.
Well, and not only being a little quicker in the basketball, but physically just pushing Kentucky under the basket, gives them better position. But huge shot that time from the wing. Kentucky doing a good job of swinging around. Now all of a sudden you've got a little bit of breathing room at 8 points, but you want to continue to build on that.
Kentucky with its largest lead. Not only is that three big for that, but it keeps the Kentucky three-point streak going. 831 straight with at least 1 3 as the Cats are now 1 of 6 from outside. Here's Goodwin. And an assist to the official, Mike Kitts. Ball went off his back and stayed inbounds.
You know Mike will be upset that time. Officials don't like to really be a part of the game that way, but just got caught on the court, so it's in play.
Nice recognition by Mays. Sean Woods is up off the bench, taking a timeout.
Give Willie Cauley-Stein some credit for that, too. Held the defense off, kind of set a pick down low, opened up that lane to the basket. You see just little shot fakes, lifts the defense. Now you see Willie Cauley-Stein just holding his ground there on the weak side. The Morehead defense slow to react.
The Wildcats, who trailed by as many as 11, have now gotten a double-digit lead of their own for the first time tonight.
Good timeout by Sean Woods, but again, Kentucky needs to understand, hey, let's not let them back in this. Let's continue to build on that lead. Don't relax. Start breaking down. Understand how you got back into the lead by playing good, solid defense and working together on the offensive end. Keep making those type of plays.
Big possession for the Morehead State Eagles as you see the 16-2 Kentucky run. Cauley-Stein closes out. Mays got hit in the chin with an elbow as Bakari Turner went driving by. And he's still adjusting his teeth in the front court. Goodwin to the hole. Boy, he is so good at that mace.
He's really slippery in there, getting in the seam, the gap, if you will, and able to finish the play. He's got such long arms. Plays even taller than he is.
He's got every aspect of it, though, Kyle. I mean, he's great at recognizing when he's got a slot. Then he's got the quick step, and as you said, he's strong enough to finish.
One of the few bad shots we've really seen by the Eagles tonight. Stokes a little impatient that time offensively.
That time, Goodwin had it taken away. And Chavis puts it home. Now down 8, Morehead State extends the defense. Still have not seen the full court press. Wiltjer, his first 3 of the night. biggest lead of the game for Kentucky is 11. Chavis went around Wiltjer, and he got it back off the 14th offensive rebound of the night by Morehead State.
Just a little too quick. It seems like their first step is a little faster than the Wildcats. Chavis is an outstanding looking athlete.
Whistle. And Kelly is guilty of the drive on the foul. Kentucky trying to put away the Eagles in Lexington. Number 8, Kentucky, is now led by as many as 11, 65-57 over Morehead State here in Rupp Arena. Dave Baker, Kyle Macy. Mace, the streak for Kentucky goes on. 831 games now with at least one made three, and it's been threes that have kind of helped them stretch this out just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think that streak was really on the Wildcats' mind, but more so just trying to create some space. And a good ball movement gets Julius Mays a wide open look from the corner on one side, and then on the other side, Archie Goodwin giving it up. Kyle Wiltjer able to set his feet and gets that three-pointer to go. Gave Kentucky a little bit of breathing room, if you will, but they're not out of the woods by any means yet.
So there you see the three-point field goals.
Three-pointers sometimes can kind of act like a dunk, if you will, as far as that momentum, that energy lift as well. Gets the crowd excited. Everybody raises up their three signs. Players get a little bit more enthusiasm.
Spoken like a guy who didn't dunk very much. Oh my gosh. The big night that Archie Goodwin had, and I think that may have been an air ball. Tom Wormy, you were over there and heard Coach Cal in the timeout.
I could hear Coach Cal, and he was talking about the 50-50 balls, and you saw Wiltjer just get one there, and then he pumps up the three. But in that timeout, it was very spirited. Coach Cal sat the guys down and said, those balls are yours. If you're going to win this game, you're going to have to win those battles. This is your home court. He was very energetic. He got right in their face, tried to light a fire under them, in stark contrast to the previous timeout where he was very calm and drew up a few plays. This time, he's trying to get emotion and energy and squeeze it out of his young Wildcats.
Thanks, Tom. And you know, Mace, that's not a negative about these kids. I mean, but these guys, especially the young guys, they're used to walking into gyms and people just like looking at them and going, oh my gosh, how can we compete against these guys? And then you see a team like Morehead State come in here and take the fight right to the heavily favored club.
Yeah, and we've talked about the learning curve for this Kentucky team. I still think that the coaching staff is learning quite a bit about their players as far as what buttons they can push and what they can say to who and when. And so that's why they're maybe trying some different strategies. Being calm one time out, being very fiery the next time out.
Held ball, and the alternate possession arrow goes to Kentucky. And you got to hold on the inbounds.
It only took about 7 steps before the foul was called, though.
It's kind of an indicator of how the night has gone when the referee, when he gives his signal to the scorer's table, indicates bear hug. That's not the hack across the arm. Foul was committed by Bakari Turner, his second. That is the 16th against Morehead State in the second half.
Julius Mays kind of goes unnoticed sometimes, I think, for this Kentucky team. The fact that he's one of the older players, obviously a grad student, but just kind of sometimes seems like he's the glue out there. Doesn't do a lot of fancy things, but just makes the simple play, makes that extra pass, had 10 assists last game, and can knock down those open shots as well. Never going to give you any really flashy moves, but just a solid player.
He's like the 48-year-old guy, you know, in the pickup league. I mean, he's got every piece of his body taped up. You know, he's got a cut above his eye. Walks around like he can hardly move, and all he does is hit big shots for his team. Another offensive rebound for Morehead State. How about 2 on a possession? And they stay with it, and Maurice Lewis-Briggs gets it to go. So this is the most challenging rebounding performance for Kentucky, Kyle, since the Maryland game. Yeah,
and right now, if they'd have been taking care of the reboundings here in the second half, this game would have been a double-digit lead. Instead, Morehead's right there. 16 offensive boards for the Eagles. Kentucky just not responding to the being pushed underneath the basket in the physical play. You got to create space by going out and getting the offensive player to get that defensive rebound.
Kentucky only with 8 offensive rebounds as Mays misses badly. The other thing is the bench scoring. Kentucky has been outscored by the Morehead bench 27-4. As Stokes hits the floater, Calipari wants a timeout. He is out to half court on to Alex Poythress.
Well, again,
and he takes a timeout.
Yeah, Alex out on the floor, well beyond the three-point line instead of getting inside and giving some help defensively, and allowed the player from Morehead to get in that gap, pull up, and knock that jumper down. Here you see just ball movement, little shot fake, swings back around, and you see Poythress just standing up, kind of watching the action instead of being in there, being aggressive, faking and recovering, those type of things. No use hanging onto your man you're supposed to be guarding, and he's well out past the three-point line.
Each team with 2 timeouts left. You see Kentucky in the double bonus, Morehead State in the bonus. 6:31 to play on this Thanksgiving Eve. And somehow I've got this feeling that it won't be an afternoon of just sitting around and watching football for these Kentucky guys tomorrow. Ollie Stein leads the break. And Goodwin under control again.
Yeah, he's made such big strides. That shot right there, before he would have probably barreled in there, maybe committed an offensive charge, but gathered himself under control, little jump stop, nice kiss off the glass.
24 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds for Archie Goodwin. Noel got that block. And then Lewis Briggs just grabbed his jersey as he was running back down court. Could have been an intentional foul, but no whistle. 11th block of the night for Kentucky. Noel has 6 of his own.
And Goodwin doing an excellent job. Continue to attack the glass. Morehead just putting their hands on and committing those fouls.
Atkinson called for the foul. And Sean Woods not happy with the way his guard came back over to the bench.
Checking at the
Boy,
welcome to a new system.
And that scene just continues on the Morehead State bench. See the emotion, and not surprising with the effort that Morehead State has played with tonight. Atkinson fouls out with 4 points. And Chavis able to answer. What a night he's had for Morehead State. 20 points for Milton Chavis, 5 rebounds. And the Eagles just keep hanging around.
Chavis grabbing his right calf. Looks like he's maybe cramped up. Man, what a job he's done tonight. They're much better fit in this newer system than last year's, where they play a little bit slower. Really able to excel.
Poythress goes right around him. Sean Woods only with 2 timeouts left. He wants to, now he's going to take one. And he's going to see if he can get him out. Now that's a nice job of officiating by Mike Kitts. He says no timeout. Sean was just pointing out he needed to get Chavis out because of the injury. So Kelly in there now for Morehead. Kentucky 29 of 39 from the free throw line tonight. Morehead State 12 of 13. Kentucky with 26 more free throws. But that has little to do with any sort of perceived home whistle. It's a difference in style of play. Another loose ball on the floor. And the arrow points to the Wildcats.
You know, Dave, right there, just the inexperience of Archie Goodwin that time, giving the ball up early to Alex Poythress. They had a 3-on-2. You need to keep the ball in the middle, get to the free throw line, come to maybe a jump stop. And if the defense doesn't commit, you're going to have a wide open look. Then once they come to you, it'll tell you which way to pass it. Instead, he gave it up and it became a 2-on-2 break. And Poythress just kind of fumbling the basketball, gets loose, and there's a battle down the floor.
Goodwin with a tough turn.
That is a tough shot. Going the wrong way, spinning back towards the lane, and somehow soft enough to get it to go in the basket.
Largest lead of the night. That kid has got a rare combination of skills. He has got the finesse, but when he makes a great move like that, he's got the strength to finish.
The possession arrow doesn't change on a foul. That's why the last time they made that change, Doug Schals came over to make sure we knew that rule.
Doing a nice job of that. Second time that this officiating crew of Schals and Mike Kitts and Garrick Shannon have come over to explain things tonight. As Kelly misses the free throw and a nice rebound by Poythress.
Squeezing it with two hands. Kentucky now looks to be a little bit more patient, use some clock, try to pound the ball down low.
Poythress trying to step through the double team. Shot clock now at 5. And Mays is bailed out by Kelly. Kentucky up by a dozen. The Eagles still with a lot of fight. We're back for the finish in a minute. Kentucky trying to close it out against Morehead State as you take a look at a man who's well connected with both these programs, the former head coach at Morehead State. Great friend of athletes all over the Commonwealth and a great friend of ours as well, Wayne Martin, who is retiring as the regional vice president of Great Television and the general manager at WKYT. And Macy's been involved with athletics at a lot of different levels in this state for a long time.
And always very successful.
Mentor and a friend. Got him a place on the golf course now. And getting ready to enjoy that game that he loves. And as we mentioned, so much that he has done for both of these programs, athletics overall. And he's seen a good one tonight between the Eagles and the Wildcats. Whistle away from the ball. And it's Owens who's going to be called for his 5th foul. He becomes the second Morehead State Eagle to foul out.
Dave, I know this game's not over yet, but I'm sure when Coach Calipari and the players look at this film, Coach Cal's going to use it a lot to his advantage, is showing why you work hard in the weight room. That strength factor, because these cats are going to be a little bit sore tomorrow when they wake up from all the banging that's been going on out there on the floor. But it's been a real good learning experience for them, especially when it looks like they're going to be able to possibly come away with a victory here.
Goodwin tripped as he tried to hop out front. Inadvertent contact. Noel, nice look to Poythress. Time now to take a look at our Kentucky Farm Bureau UK defensive plays of the game. Hey, Mace, no surprise. How about a little shot blocking?
Yeah, key word being plays with the plural form. A lot of shot blocking going on, especially by that man, Noel, in the lead the break, coming out on the floor, in under the basket. Just doing an excellent job with the defensive plays of the game.
11 blocks by Kentucky. I believe at last count, Noel had 6 of those blocks. As Kelly gets it to go. Don Calipari, you can hear him all the way across the way talking about blocking out the free throw shooter and not being down there with the cheerleaders. Has a unique way of putting things.
Real important now for Kentucky to understand this last 3 minutes that Morehead is really going to throw the kitchen sink. They've been physical, but there's nothing to lose now. So even more physical. So you got to prepare for it, be even stronger with the basketball, but continue to attack.
Morehead State led 48-44 at the 14-10 mark of this second half. And since then, Kentucky has put together a 33-17 run. Nice lead. What a feed from Noel. And Poythress knows what to do, and he gets up ahead of steam.
Didn't look like he was going to be able to get to the rim, but just kept floating on up.
Step back three. Won't go for Lewis Briggs.
Now will definitely take some time off the clock. A lot of player movement, passing the ball out top before they set once it gets into 12.
Morehead State has gone 11 deep tonight. Kentucky has played just 7 players. Poythress again. Oh, nice play by Chavis. Boy, a pump fake. He kept control of the ball. Got it to Lewis Briggs. This is exactly the kind of test that John Calipari was looking for. Wanted to see how his team would respond against a physical club like Morehead State.
Yeah, and I think they learned something as far as which players backed up and which players all of a sudden got a little bit more aggressive. So a good learning lesson for the players, and like we said, for the coaches as well.
And now Goodwin has bumped his knee or pulled something. And he's asking for a timeout. Man, you don't want to see that. And he was looking at his knee. It's not like a cramp, I don't think. And Goodwin can't get back over to the Kentucky bench. How about Mays putting him up on his back?
With a piggyback ride.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what the 40-year-old guy would do on the playground. Help. Take a look.
Yeah.
And let's see. Right there, knee to knee. Again, inadvertent. Nice job by our crew giving us that shot. Goodwin still hobbling around over there on the UK bench.
And, you know, I'm not one to make comparisons, but Kevin Kidd here at the table made the comparison. Archie Goodwin, see the numbers, 28 points, 12 of 17 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, great game. But compared him to James Blackman, which I think is a real good comparison. How he was able to drive the ball against a lot bigger opponents and finish at the basket.
Lexington Clinic bringing you the UK player of the game. And I was actually talking to Sean Woods at shoot-around last night. James Blackman now coaching over in Indiana. And he's won 2 or 3 state high school championships over there. And Sean Woods, of course, who's from Indianapolis himself, said that James's son was a guy that could really play.
That's why they won a couple of state championships.
That's a good thing.
You gotta have players.
Poythress with a big finish.
Now he acts like he's cramping running back down the floor, grabbing the hamstring on the right leg.
It has been a physical night as Chavis hits the 3. 23 for Milton Chavis. Sean Woods and John Calipari exchanging a handshake in midcourt. A hard-fought win for the nation's 8th-ranked team as Kentucky survives and knocks off Morehead State by a count of 81-70. While we're waiting for John Calipari, we'll tell you tonight that we had 4 Whitaker Bank shots. That's $400 that'll be donated to the Kaywood Ledford Scholarship Fund by Whitaker Bank. And Tom Wormy standing by now with John Calipari. Tom?
Dave, thank you so much, Coach. You have told me many times you would much rather learn from a close victory. Now, this one was close most of the night. What did you learn about your club?
Not physical. They came in and just said, get all up in them. You know, they don't want to bend over and play. They don't want to make tough plays. They don't want to get open. They'll catch it at half court if you force them. That's what I learned about my team. And again, there was some good here. But you can't. We had some guys that they just threw the ball at their man and said, score it. The guy can't guard you. We can't be that way.
You made that 16-2 run, and Mays was a critical part of that. That's an older guy with some experience making those plays for you.
He did. But Archie was terrific. Alex was terrific. You know, we just have a ways to go. I mean, they played harder. They played with more toughness. That's how everybody's going to play us.
Coach, thank you, and happy Thanksgiving. Coach Calipari walks out with another victory, still undefeated at Rupp Arena, Dave.
Thanks, Tom. Mace, your thoughts?
Well, it's always good to get a victory, and a learning lesson definitely. The Cats understanding they got to be much more physical. They've got to rely and work with themselves together, not just playing one-on-one basketball, but it did respond, so it was a good thing they were able to come away with that 11-point victory.
Good chance for everybody to catch their breath and to be thankful tomorrow before we come back on Friday night as the Cats take on LIU Brooklyn. That's it from Lexington, Kentucky. The final score, the Wildcats 81, Morehead State 70. For our producer, Brian Woodrum, Uncle Roy Alpers at the controls. For Kyle Macy and Tom Wormy, I'm Dave Baker. Thank you for watching Wildcat basketball on the UK IMG Network. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.